But they're Pastor Berengoss and his wife Barbara and Pastor Dusty and her husband Chris Tackle are here to bless this office today. I've known Dusty for most of her life, and if you want to find a woman that knows how to love like Christ loves, this is your lady. She is the best wife, the best mom, the best daughter, and the best friend that Griffin, Georgia could ever have. So with all of that being said, come on, Dusty, bless them.
Well, good morning. Thank you to my dear friend, Representative Karen Mathiak, to Speaker Burns, and to all of you for having me here today. It is a great honor that I do not take for granted. Thank you all for your service and your commitment to our great state. I know that you are not here because you think it's an easy job or a stress-free job, but it's because you really have a heart for people and love people and you want good for us all. The last time I was in this building was in 1985 with my Jackson Road Elementary 5th grade class, and I can say you guys haven't aged at all. Like, you look fantastic. Great job. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to say to you today, and I really just want to speak to your hearts and encourage you with an invitation to live lighter. Since COVID, most of us, our children included, have felt heaviness in both our professional and our personal lives. We are mentally exhausted, we are anxious, we are stressed out, and life has become heavy for so many. And while we cannot control everything in life we face, we can control how we carry it. You see, more than Jesus said in Scripture, "Believe in me" or "worship me," he said, "Come to me." He said, "Follow me. Watch how I respond. Watch how I do it. Watch the way I do it." And he said it's less about believing the right things, and it's about living the right way. You see, Jesus was full of joy, and most of us are full of stress. Jesus didn't worry. Some say this youngest generation is the most anxious generation in our history. Jesus stopped for people. We get so worried about checking off our to-do list and get interrupted that we don't allow ourselves to just stop. My daughter, Anna, she is a freshman at the University of Georgia. And as a stressed out, high-achieving, competitive 19-year-old, she found herself in a sea of thousands of other students just like her, wondering how to just have fun, how to live lighter, and how to chill out. She is a writer and a blogger, and she started blogging, and she recently blogged about watching one of her favorite childhood movies called Surf's Up. It's about penguins who love to surf, but her favorite character in the movie is a character named Chicken Joe. He is the only chicken competing with the other penguin surfers, and she writes this: "Imagine the most West Coast, laid-back, absolute dude of all dudes. Now put that persona into a surfing chicken. He's one of the best surfers in the game, but he doesn't even know what he's doing or where his board is or what day it is. He just knows life is going to work out. He is relaxed, carefree, totally trusting that he's going to be okay, and he has fun. He's in it for the ride, literally." And she continues, "I want to be like Chicken Joe. I want to be carefree, in it for the ride, so relaxed and trusting in God's plan for my life that when things don't go as planned or don't go my way, that I will know that life is not happening to me, but for me." And so when I read this, I thought to myself, I want to be like Chicken Joe. And I'm sure most of you are in here saying, I can't afford to be like Chicken Joe. And perhaps some of you are looking at someone in your opposing party and saying they don't know what day it is or where their board is either, but I'm sure it's not like that in this house. And while Jesus doesn't promise us that we can be as chill as Chicken Joe, what he does offer us is something better. and he offers us himself. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the passage in Matthew where Jesus tells us to come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, who are burdened, and I will give you rest. The Message translation, I really appreciated this passage, and it is an invitation for us all. And the passage goes, are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me and get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you, but keep company with me and learn to live freely and lightly. I believe he is offering us an invitation to three things here. The first is an invitation to rest. This is not physical rest. It is not physical rest that we need. It's not physical rest that is making us feel exhausted all the time. It is that we don't rest our mind. We don't rest our thoughts. Proverbs 4:23 says, guard the heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. To guard your heart is to guard your mind, to guard what you're thinking about. Because you see, the only power the enemy has over you are the thoughts you choose to stir. You see, you don't have to think about everything you feel, but you will feel everything you think about. Wherever your mind goes, your life goes with it. So stop stirring thoughts that are weighing you down and do what Paul urges us to do in Philippians and think on things that are good and right and pure and holy. You see, you have to set your mind on things above. It has to be a decision. It is not your default. What you're thinking about is determining what you're living in, and Jesus invites us to peace and real rest. It's also an invitation to trust. You see, stress comes from our inability to trust that everything will work out and be okay. It comes from our insatiable desire to control. I have this neat little app on my phone. It's called Life 360. It's the app your children hope you never discover. It tells me where my children are, how fast they're driving, and if they are safe. This app is supposed to help me in eliminating stress from my life, but I submit to you it does not eliminate stress from your life because it is not always accurate. To the point to a couple of years ago, I woke my husband up in the middle of the night and I said, Chris, John is in the middle of the road in Athens, Georgia. And so after subsequent calls to every single family member and finding out John was indeed asleep in his dorm, I realized he was okay. I realized this is really not adding comfort to my life. And so the only true comfort and the only true trust is in the Father. And the way we're able to put our trust in him is to be present in this moment. Because you see, fear and anxiety can only be attached to the future. When you are present with him, that is where our peace comes from. And finally, it is an invitation to let go. Let go of anything that's not serving you. Resentment, unforgiveness, unmet expectations, disappointment, not getting your way. And if you're waiting to feel the feeling to let go of these things, you may never feel it. It's an intentional act, and it's a process. See, why didn't Jesus teach, bless those who curse you once you're not angry anymore? Or pray for those who hurt you once you get over it? It's because right actions always precedes the right attitude. You won't feel the right things until you do the right things. I would like to close with my daughter Anna's closing words in her blog, and she writes, may you relinquish the things that are not serving you. May you take the time to listen to the Spirit, to your inner voice, and may you courageously care for your needs. May you sacrifice your comfort for the beautiful reward of growth. May peace be your navigator rather than fear, and may you learn to live like Chicken Joe. Let us pray. Father, thank you for coming to this earth to show us how to live. Thank you that you came to not save us from something, but rather save us to something better, so that we may have life and have it to the full. We ask that you continue to teach us to come to you in every part of our lives, that we can trust in your ways and your care, knowing that you are for us. Who can be against us? We accept your invitation today to take on your yoke that is easy and light. I bless every person in this room with health, with protection, and with overwhelming peace. In your holy, wonderful name we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Oh, thank
That's just what we needed on this second most stressful day.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, let's get a picture and then we'll bring. Thank you. Get this. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Members may greet the chaplain in the south anteroom. The chair recognizes Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Madam Speaker, the Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal from the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And on another note, life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it.
Good words for today. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? The chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none. The journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of the business for the day.
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order for the business of the day? The chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions.
House Bill
The clerk will read.
1399 by Representative Scoggins, the 14th, Gamble, the 15th, bill being titled an act to provide a new charter for the city of White.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1400 by Representative Green and the 154th, bill being titled an act to provide a new charter for the city of Damascus.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1401 by Representative Green and the 154th, bill being titled an act to provide a new charter for the city of Blakely.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1402 by Representative Cummings, the 39th, and Olowitz, the 42nd, Stoner, the 40th, Campbell, the 35th, Adesanya, the 43rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend an act incorporating the city of Mapleton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1403 by Representative Ridley, the 6th. The bill be titled an act to amend an act entitled an act to provide a new charter for the city of Chatsworth.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1404 by Representative Franklin of the 160th, Jenkins the 136th, Lott of the 131st, Powell of the 33rd, Burchett of the 176th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 7, Chapter 13, and Title 9 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to advertisement regarding judicial sales.
Judiciary,
House Bill 1405 by Representative Crawford of the 84th, Mitchell of the 88th, Roberts of the 52nd, Davis the 87th, Draper of the 90th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 7, and Title 44 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to security deposits.
Judiciary,
House Bill 1411 by Representative Meeks of the 178th and Deloach of the 167th. Bill be titled an act to amend and act to provide a new charter for the city of Scranton.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 1412 by Representative Blackman of the 146th, Ballard of the 147th, Beverly of the 143rd, and Dickey of the 145th. Bill be entitled an act to create the Warner Robins Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 1413 by Representative Rhodes of the 124th and Crow of the 118th. Bill be entitled an act to provide homestead exemptions from Putnam County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 1414 by Representative Hilton of the 48th and Romano of the 97th. Bill be titled an act to provide for the creation of one or more community improvement districts to be wholly located within the city of Peachtree Corners.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Bill 1415 by Representative Gaines of the 120th, Weedower, 121st, Petrie of the 166th, Rhodes of the 124th, and Hong of the 103rd. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 35 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions for law enforcement officers and agencies.
Public Safety and Homeland Security,
House Bill 1416 by Representative Adesanya of the 43rd, Cummings of the 39th, Lynn of the 98th, Bell of the 75th, Crawford of the 84th. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 44 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to landlord and tenant.
Judiciary,
House Bill 1417 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, Williams of the 168th, Bennett of the 94th, Jones of the 60th, Scott of the 76th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Part 1 of Article 4, Chapter 12, and Title 15 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions of grand juries.
Judiciary Non-Civil,
House Bill 1418 by Representative Beverly, the 143rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 50 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Department of Community Affairs.
Special Rules,
House Bill 1419 by Representative Camp of the 135th. Bill be titled an act to create the Pike County Public Facilities Authority.
Intergovernmental Coordination,
House Resolution 1256 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Scott of the 76th, Mitchell of the 88th, Davis of the 87th, Jackson of the 68th. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on the establishment of a baby bonds program.
Special Rules,
House Resolution 1257 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Bonner of the 73rd, Cannon of the 172nd, Clark of the 100th, Davis of the 87th, and others. A resolution creating the Joint Study Committee on combating homelessness among veterans.
Defense and Veterans Affairs,
Senate Bill 10 by Senator Jones the 10th, Jones the 22nd, Butler the 55th, Albers the 56th, Sayes of the 34th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 11 of Title 16 and Title 40 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to offenses against public order and motor vehicles and traffic.
Judiciary Non-Civil,
House Bill 235 by Senator Halpern of the 39th, Anna Devard of the 31st, Say of the 34th, Orrock of the 36th, Beach of the 21st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 50 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Department of Community Affairs.
Higher Education,
House Senate Bill 351 by Senator Anna Devard of the 31st, Robertson of the 29th, Brass of the 28th, Kennedy of the 18th, Gooch of the 51st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Titles 20 and 39 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to education and minors.
Education,
Senate Bill 384 by Senator Hickman of the 4th, Albers of the 56th, Beach of the 21st, Halpern of the 39th, Estevez of the 6th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 19 to Title 45 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to labor practices.
Industry and Labor,
Senate Bill 399 by Senator Eccles of the 49th, Albers of the 56th, Walker of the 20th, Estevez of the 6th, Hickman of the 4th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 20 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to vocational, technical, and adult education.
Higher Education.
Senate Bill 429 by Senator Dolezal, the 27th, Gooch of the 51st, Kennedy the 18th, Robertson the 29th, Anna Navarro the 31st, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend titles 28, 31, and 50 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the General Assembly.
Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight.
Senate Bill 440 by Senator Brass, the 28th, Baird the 42nd, Dixon the 45th, Butler the 55th, Williams the 25th, and others. A bill be titled an act to amend Article 6, Chapter 2, of Title 20 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
Senate Bill 504 by Senator Burns, the 23rd. A bill be titled an act to create a Board of Elections and Registration for Warren County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 858 by Representative Bell of the 75th, a bill relating to driver's licenses. House Bill 1372 by Representative Smith of the 138th, a bill to provide a new charter for the town of Pine Mountain. House Bill 1373 by Representative Rhodes of the 124th, Crow of the 118th, a bill to amend an act creating a Board of Commissioners of Putnam County. House Bill 1374 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Ridley of the 22nd, Earhart of the 36th, and Seabaugh of the 34th, a bill to amend an act to reincorporate and provide a new charter for the city of Ackworth. House Bill 1375 by Representative Neal of the 79th, Douglas of the 78th, Harvin of the 2nd, Horner of the 3rd, Ridley of the 22nd, and others, a bill relating to exemptions from sales and use taxes. House Bill 1376 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Seabaugh of the 34th, Scoggins of the 14th, Ridley of the 6th, a bill relating to primaries and elections. House Bill 1377 by Representative Holcomb of the 81st, Beverly of the 143rd, Park of the 107th, Hughley of the 141st, Owl of the 50th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions relative to health. House Bill 1378 by Representative Burchett of the 176th, Corbett of the 174th, Draper of the 90th, a bill relating to special license plates promoting or supporting certain worthy agencies, funds, or nonprofit corporations. House Bill 1379 by Representative Buckner of the 137th, Hagan of the 156th, a bill relating to state flag, seal, and other symbols. House Bill 1380 by Representative McGall of the 105th, Reeves of the 99th, Okoye of the 102nd, Marin of the 96th, Clark of the 100th, a bill relating to motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 1384 by Representative Cox of the 28th, Hilton of the 48th, Irwin of the 32nd, Dubnik of the 29th, Townsend of the 179th, and others, a bill relating to sick personal maternity leave for teachers and other school personnel. House Bill 1385 by Representative Montahan of the 17th, Camp of the 135th, New of the 64th, Ridley of the 22nd, Chastain of the 7th, a bill relating to kinds of insurance, limits of risk, and reinsurance. House Bill 1386 by Representative Adesanya of the 43rd, Willis of the 55th, Draper of the 90th, a bill relating to prohibited use of purchasers' credit card information by merchant. House Bill 1387 by Representative Adesanya of the 43rd, Bruce of the 61st, Elallier of the 59th, Cannon of the 58th, Bazemore of the 69th, a bill relating to the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 1388 by Representative Fry of the 122nd, Ramon of the 97th, Cannon of the 58th, the bill relating to driver's licenses. House Bill 1389 by Representative Thomas of the 65th, a bill relating to veterans' benefits. House Bill 1390 by Representative Bell of the 75th, a bill relating to possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of low THC oil and penalties. House Bill 1391 by Representative Bell of the 75th and Sharper of the 177th, a bill relating to the Department of Community Affairs. House Bill 1392 by Representative Bell of the 75th, a bill relating to insurance requirements for transportation network companies and their drivers. House Bill 1393 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Sharper of the 177th, a bill relating to regulation of early care and education programs. House Bill 1394 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Jackson of the 68th, a bill relating to revenue and taxation. House Bill 1395 by Representative Bell of the 75th, a bill relating to state tort claims. House Bill 1396 by Representative Bell of the 75th, McLean of the 109th, Sharper of the 177th, Hawley of the 116th, a bill relating to competencies and core curriculum. House Bill 1397 by Representative Burchett of the 176th and Anderson of the 10th, a bill relating to water rights. House Bill 1398 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Sharper of the 177th, Mitchell of the 88th, a bill relating to rideshare network services and transportation referral services. House Bill 1406 by Representative Parsons of the 44th, a bill relating to public utilities and public transportation. House Bill 1407 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Burchett of the 176th, Corbett of the 174th, Anderson of the 10th, Prince of the 132nd, a bill relating to coordinated and comprehensive planning and service delivery by counties and municipalities. House Bill 1408 by Representative Lott of the 131st, Jaspers of the 11th, Clark of the 100th, Hawkins of the 27th, Parrots of the 142nd, a bill relating to low THC oil patient registry. House Bill 1409 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, Newton of the 127th, Burns of the 159th. A bill relating to general provisions relative to torts. House Bill 1410 by Representative Evstration of the 104th. A bill relating to housing. House Resolution 1227 by Representative Stinson of the 150th and Chokus of the 151st. Resolution honoring the life of Mr. George R. Usner and dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 1228 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Cannon of the 172nd, Bonner of the 73rd, Gladney of the 130th, Hitchens of the 161st. Resolution honoring the life of Corporal Dewey E. Ruiz Jr., dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 1229 by Representative Gladney of the 130th, Bonner of the 73rd, Gamble of the 15th, Mathiak of the 74th, Cannon of the 172nd, and others. A resolution urging the United States Department of Veterans Affairs to provide for additional resources to address elder care, nursing home access, expanded disabled residential programs for veteran community populations. House Resolution 1230 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Lallier of the 59th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Howard of the 129th. Resolution proposing amendments to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for the creation of a Children's First Trust Fund. House Resolution 1231 by Representative Newton of the 127th, Hatchett of the 155th, Knight of the 134th, Taylor of the 173rd, Buckner of the 137th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Maternal, Prenatal, and Pediatric Care Access and Funding. House Resolution 1232 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Beverly of the 143rd, Stoner of the 40th, Mitchell of the 88th. Resolution urging the state of Georgia to take swift actions, including enabling legislation as may be indicated, to import some prescription drugs from Canada to lower the cost of drug prices in Georgia. House Resolution 1250 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th, Hitchens of the 161st, Westbrook of the 163rd. Resolution honoring the life of Mr. Peter Pete Liakis and dedicating a road in his memory. House Resolution 1251 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Jackson of the 165th, Westbrook of the 163rd. Resolution honoring the life of Mrs. Frances Bright Johnson, dedicating an interchange in her memory. House Resolution 1252 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Sharper of the 177th, Mitchell of the 88th. Resolution creating House Study Committee on reducing Georgia's dependency on BRICS states. House Resolution 1253 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Jackson of the 165th, Westbrook of the 163rd. Resolution honoring the lives of Reverend Dr. Hosea L. Williams and Representative Juanita T. Williams, dedicating an interchange in their memory. House Resolution 1254 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Hutchinson of the 106th, Reese of the 140th, and Hawley of the 116th. Resolution proposing amendments to the Constitution of the State of Georgia so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for the legalization and regulation of marijuana. House Resolution 1255 by Representative Bell of the 75th, Sharper of the 177th, Mitchell of the 88th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on combating human trafficking in major transportation areas. Senate Bill 376 by Senator Tillery of the 9th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Burns of the 23rd, Payne of the 54th, Strickland of the 17th, and others. A bill relating to the Juvenile Code. Senate Bill 387 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Hatchett of the 50th, Payne of the 54th, Robertson of the 29th, Jackson of the 41st, and others. A bill relating to identification cards for persons without driver's licenses. Senate Bill 401 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Payne of the 54th, Kennedy of the 18th, Jackson of the 41st, Robertson of the 29th, and others. A bill relating to the Juvenile Code. Senate Bill 427 by Senator Tillery of the 19th, Setso of the 37th, Burns of the 23rd, a bill relating to commerce and trade in food and drugs and cosmetics. Senate Bill 483 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Tillery of the 19th, a bill relating to minors. Through second readers.
We're moving on to morning orders. There are 16 that have signed up for morning orders. There won't be any more. If you want to give a morning order, please be down at the front. We'll call you if you're down at the front. I'm going to go in order. And there'll be no more than 1 minute each. And briefly, before we do the morning orders, we'll complete the reports of the standing committees.
Representative Meeks of the 178th District, Chairman of the Committee on Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight has added under its consideration the following bill of the House, instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 1410 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Meeks of the 178th District, Chairman. Representative Mark Newton of the 127th District, Chairman of the Committee on Interstate Cooperation, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Interstate Cooperation has had under its consideration the following bill of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 839 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Mark Newton of the 127th District, Chairman. Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civils had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 218 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 882 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 926 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 928 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1038 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 1361 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Okay. Moving to morning orders, the chair recognizes Representative Gamble for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have a very special event today with our Boys and Girls Club's Youth of the Year that we are celebrating. And for many of you that have a Boys and Girls Club chapter in your county, we're excited to recognize them here today. And they will select the overall Youth of the Year for the state at their luncheon that will be held later today at the Zoo Atlanta. I have been involved with my Bartow County Boys and Girls Club for 17 years, and we operate 2 programs. But our students are here today from across the state, and I would ask anyone with the Boys and Girls Club that's with us today in the gallery to please stand at this time so that we can recognize you. We have some Youth of the Year over here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Speaker.
Good job, man. Thought we were here for your books.
We're going to do an invite resolution. The clerk will read a resolution.
House Resolution 1153 by Representative Burns, the 159th Parish of the 158th, Newton and 127th, Princeton, the 132nd, and Lot of the 131st, and others. A resolution recognizing and commending Brooks A. Keel, Ph.D., for his dedicated service to advancing higher education in the state of Georgia, the University System of Georgia, Georgia Southern University, and Augusta University.
Let's see here. We're going to honor a very, very special person who has served our state and many of our children very well with an illustrious career at Augusta University and others before that. I'm going to ask Chairman Parrish if he will introduce our guest.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real honor for me to introduce a special guest to you today, but before I do that, we have a couple of other folks I'd like for you to help me recognize. We have the Executive Vice President Russell Keene from Augusta University and his wife Karen are with us over here. And then we have students up in the gallery and members of the foundation from Augusta University. So would you help me give them a warm house welcome for being with us today? It's a real honor for me to introduce our special guest to us today. The speaker sends his apologies that he couldn't be here this morning. He had to attend a funeral, and he'll be joining us later. But we're going to introduce somebody to you today that many of you know and don't really need an introduction, but he has served higher education in the state of Georgia within the university system of Georgia for many years. Brooks Keel served 5.5 years at Georgia Southern University before returning to his hometown as served as president of Augusta University for 8.5 years. And it's perfectly fitting since he attended and graduated from both Augusta University's legacy institution, earning a bachelor's degree in biology and chemistry from Augusta College and a doctorate in reproduction endocrinology from the Medical College of Georgia. And while serving as president of Georgia Southern in Statesboro, he focused on expanding undergraduate and graduate education through research and community experience, and launched the Allen E. Paulson College of Engineering and Information Technology and the Institute for Interdisciplinary STEM Education. During his tenure at Augusta University, he expanded its academic offerings and campus infrastructure through the founding of the School of Computer and Cyber Sciences, the School of Public Health, and the Transdisciplinary Research Initiative in Inflammaging and Brain Aging, the Immunology Center for Georgia, the 4-year Medical College of Georgia Partnership Campus in Savannah, a new College of Science and Mathematics building, a major expansion of research laboratory space, and the Burt Story Cancer Research Building. During his tenure, the Medical College of Georgia, the Dental College of Georgia, and the College of Nursing have created partnerships to extend education outreach throughout the state and meet the critical healthcare needs of our rural and other underserved areas. While doing all of this, he has increased enrollment more than 27% and the National Institute of Health funding by 37%. We want to thank Dr. Keel for his service to our university system and to our state of Georgia. And as he and his wife Tammy move on to this new chapter in their life, we want to wish them well, and we have a resolution that we'll be presenting to them. Please join me in welcoming these special folks to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. What a real privilege and pleasure it is for me to be here today. I have so many people to thank, and I just don't have time to do that, but I do want to point out just a couple things. First and foremost, I would not be here were it not for the First Lady of Augusta University and my wife, Dr. Tammy Shalhoub. Tammy, I love you more than you know. Asking Chairman to marry me was the smartest thing I've ever done in my life. The second smartest thing I've ever done was to ask Russell King to join me as Chief of Staff. And I want to thank Russell and Karen for being here today with us too. And Russell, Tammy and I will certainly look forward to following your career as you move ahead. Thank you. I want to give a special shout out to the delegation of Augusta and Richmond County, Columbia County. You know who you are. We greatly appreciate the service you give to the state day in and day out. I've had the privilege of working under 3 governors while I've been in the system, and I can't say enough about how much we appreciate Governor Kemp and the great work that he's doing for Augusta and has done for Augusta and for Augusta University. I'd also like to take the opportunity, and I'll be quiet when I get done here. There are 2 other individuals I want to thank that are part of this body. Speaker Burns and Chairman Parrish have been more than just leaders to us. They've been personal friends. Speakers, chairmen, and presidents come and go, but friendships endure forever. So John, Butch, thank you so much for your friendship. We can't thank you all enough. It's been great to be back home. I started here, I left here, and I'm proud of all the great things that we together been able to accomplish. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. And go Jags!
Thank you. Let's get a picture.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get some pictures.
All right.
said it. The chair recognizes Representative Franklin for a 1 minute or less morning order.
Thank you, Speaker Pro Tem. I'm going to make this short and sweet. But we're here today to recognize and honor a great Georgian tradition, the unfortunately dying art of producing and making cane syrup. Traditionally, cane syrup was made on the week following Thanksgiving when the family was around to help with the process. So we are designated the fourth Friday in November as National Sugarcane Syrup Day. And to celebrate, you will find a sample on your desk donated by Patricia and Randy Morton from L&M Farms, one of only 2 Centennial farms located in Bullitt County. Patricia and Randy and your family, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you for all you do for Bullitt County and for this great state of Georgia. Thank you.
You ready? Chair recognizes Representative Lim from Morning Order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to welcome the students, teachers, and staff from McClure Health Science High School from Gwinnett County, if you will stand. Visiting the Capitol for the first time as a group, McClure consistently has among the top 3 or 4 highest graduation rates in Gwinnett, with a minority enrollment of over 97%, and they have consistently contributed both to our local healthcare workforce and services, something I know that is critical to this body. To use their words, standing in the Capitol will serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of civic engagement to us, and I certainly hope they'll learn a lot today as we approach crossover. So thank you for being here. Special thanks to Commissioner John King for delivering a bilingual message to them earlier, and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Stinson from Morning Order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members of the House, on the screen, you see the late Darrell Bentley. My late husband, Darrell Bentley, was 4th generation funeral director, licensed funeral director, and licensed embalmer in the state of Georgia. And today we have in our midst members of the Georgia Funeral Service Practitioners Association. We're going to ask that all of them would please stand as we recognize them and also recognize the memory of my late husband, Darrell Keith Bentley, who was a part of the Georgia Funeral Service Practitioners Association. We thank you for what you do serving all families across the state of Georgia, and we stand with you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the House.
Chair recognizes Representative Barnes from Morning Order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In honor of Black History Month and the last 3 days of Black History Month, we have a living legend in the building, colleagues. Today we honor Mr. Michael Killer Mike Render. He's up in the gallery. 3-time Grammy Award winner in our house. Let's say hello to Killer Mike. Thank you for your activism. Thank you for your Black history in the community. And thank you for winning 3 Grammys for our state. I yield the well. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll be in the ante room.
The chair recognizes Representative Adina from Morning Order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues. My Black History Month hero today, I read about her in the Gwinnett book entitled A Little Bit Above Atlanta by Elliot Brack. A Modern History of Gwinnett County. On page 85, I read about a young lady named Beauty Poole Baldwin. Can she please stand? Beauty is the first black female superintendent in the state of Georgia out of the city of Beaufort schools. I was so much impressed by her pedigree. She not only was involved in education, but also served for 12 years on the Gwinnett Election Board and 2 years as a chairman. Beauty has held several offices in the community. She's been a strong member of Hopewell Baptist Church, started the Christian Academy there, and she's also a graduate of Savannah State. She's married to Lucius, and they have a daughter. We have a resolution for you, and we'd like to see you in the ante. Oh, most importantly, she's a member of AKA, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Don't want to forget that. Congratulations, you're my Black History hero. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being
Chair recognizes Representative Clark for a morning order.
Emory. All right. Good morning, colleague. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today, I have the honor of welcoming students, faculty, and staff from Emory University for their second annual Black History Month Day at the Capitol. The purpose of this day is to introduce the Emory community members to the Capitol and encourage civic engagement in a nonpartisan way. They were up in the gallery, but unfortunately had to head out. But if we could still give them a round of applause so they can hear it in the recording for joining us in the People's House today. Thank you so much. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Representative Okoye for a morning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I want to recognize two people that are always on this floor with us. They make you mad sometimes when they take your pictures and you're not looking good, but they capture everything we do here. I am talking about Ben Massey and Kate Lamb. There's Kate. Ben is out there. Our photographers, please acknowledge them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Holly for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could have my colleagues from Clayton County delegation please step forward. Thank you, everyone. We are here to celebrate Clayton County Day. We wish to welcome the proud residents of our local cities, Jonesboro, Riverdale, Forest Park, Morrow, Lovejoy, Bonanza, Lake City, Conley, Irondale, and the unincorporated areas of Ellenwood, Mountain View, Rex, and Hampton. We're home to the world's busiest airport. We got a wealth of good small businesses, as well as the renowned Clayton State University, including, Georgians, you all will love this, the site of one of the longest running love stories and most unfortunate tragedies, that is Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. Clayton State University and so much more. Clayton is home to the sweet memories and untold future triumphs. So please, let us rise and welcome Clayton County here in our capital.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Sharper for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Y'all might be wondering why I have this crown. It's not for the Strawberry Queen. She took some of my time. But we are here today in our Black history. We have a young man here, also Charles D. Graham with the Charles Graham Law Firm, the Graham Law Firm, and he is truly a king. And he's known as King Charles. And also, he's the big truck lawyer. So some of y'all already may know him. But we want to not recognize him just for being who he is as a lawyer, but how he is in the community. We have so many young people that are looking for role models, and he has done a great job of being that role model. He's a great father. One interesting thing about him, he has done 16 marathons in 16 different states, and he is looking to do 50 marathons in 50 different states. So y'all help me welcome. He went to Howard as well. Hey, you got to throw that in. So it's red, but help us welcome attorney Charles D. Graham, also known as King Charles, to the Georgia House. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I yield the well. And he'll be over here to take some photos with us. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Cameron for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm here to recognize some friends from Dade County, Georgia. Monda Wooten, Vice Mayor of Dade County and founder of the Dade County Pet Project. And she has some friends with her, Audrey and Bridget, who are with Lux Rescue of Dade County. Last year in Dade County, they spayed and neutered almost 1,000 animals. They call it spootered in Dade County. But anyway, welcome to the People's House if you're here, and thank you for being here. I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Representative McLean for morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And colleagues, I'm here to welcome Dr. Salome Bay. She's a native of Pittsburgh. She is a champion and ambassador for economic development. She has served in the United States Army and the Air Force. She is a mother, she is a grandmother. And let's give her a warm welcome to the People's House, Dr. Bay. And she's accompanied by Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. Thank you and welcome to the People's House.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dickey for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I'm joined here this morning by some colleagues from the agricultural sector. I have a resolution here that was drawn up recognizing our Department of Agriculture on its 150th anniversary. And I hope you'll join Commissioner Harper and us in the Capitol tomorrow at 2 p.m. to recognize this great 150th anniversary. The department was the first Department of Agriculture established in our country, and in the years after the war were very turbulent times for agriculture in Georgia. Lots of problems and poorly neglected farmland. And the members of this body saw a need to establish this department to help with agriculture practices and problems. And I just, in 1874, Edgar Butt of Marion County carried the bill to establish this department. And we just really appreciate the great employees and the past chairman of commissioners of agriculture. And we just want to celebrate it. It's a great department that does great things for our state. Hope you'll join us tomorrow in celebrating that. So thank you, colleagues. Thank you for your support of our Georgia Department of Agriculture.
Thanks, Robert.
Chair recognizes Representative Crowe for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I am delighted today to welcome a special group to the Capitol. Many of you know Pastor Benny Tate, our pastor who's come here on many occasions. And when he was here last, earlier this year, I spoke about getting to serve with him on the school board at Rock Springs Christian Academy. Today we have the 8th grade class from Rock Springs Christian Academy in Milner, Georgia here. We're going to learn all about civics education and what we do and tour your capital and their capital. And so I'd like for you to help me welcome them to the People's House. Thank you for coming.
Chair recognizes Chairman Taylor for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, I would like to recognize a group of students from my hometown. The Jurger School is here with 100 kids. That's quite a trip for them. They're here to celebrate our capital and what we do here. And a special call out, if I could, to honor Tommy Harrison. He was with them. Their teacher, Mrs. Cornegay, helped put this together. But Tommy Harrison has faithfully given tours of the Capitol for over 30 years with the Georgia Student Tours, which provides an immersion learning experience for a lifelong learning. He's here today with over these 100 kids. Please, everybody, welcome the Jurger School 5th grade. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Martinez for a morning order.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Today's a special day in the Capitol. We're celebrating Hispanic Day at the Capitol. I got some distinguished, you could tell Hispanics are in the house because they're probably the loudest ones in the gallery. Hispanic Day at the Capitol. And today, all right, calm down. And today we're also celebrating Dominican Republican Independence Day today at the Capitol. Wonderful. And we're going to have a press conference at 12 o'clock noon. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Reese for a morning order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's no secret that the university system of Georgia is the best university system in the United States of America. And what makes us strong is that we also have, in addition to that system, 3 phenomenal HBCUs right here in the state of Georgia: Savannah State University, Fort Valley State University, and the Albany State University. And we are happy to have all 3 of them here today with us under the leadership of Chairman Gregory Hollick and the Chairman of the Planning Committee, Garen Walker. And we also have the legendary Maria Boynton with us here today as well, a media mogul right here in Atlanta, Georgia. If you guys would stand up so that the gallery can recognize our representatives from HBCUs from right here in the state of Georgia. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield the well.
That concludes our morning orders. We're going on to the rules calendar. The clerk will read the caption to House Bill 451. House Bill 451.
House Bill 451 by Representative Seaball, the 34th to be entitled an act to amend Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to public officers and employees so as to require that provisions of supplemental illness-specific insurance to certain first responders diagnosed with occupational and post-traumatic stress disorder. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The chair recognizes Representative Seabaugh to present the bill.
Thank you, colleagues. If I can have your attention, I know there's a lot of conversation going on, but I'd really like you to hear this bill.
The gentleman shall suspend. Please give the man in the well, the gentleman in the well, your attention. If you have conversations, please take them to the anteroom. The gentleman shall continue.
Colleagues, I rise today to present House Bill 451. This bill came at the request of a Gwinnett Police Sergeant, Ashley Wilson, a survivor of PTSD. After witnessing her partner being shot during a routine traffic stop, she developed PTSD and was unable to return to work. Her out-of-pocket cost to get help that she needed so she could return to work was $35,000. It caused a great financial burden on her family, and after receiving treatment, she was able to return to work, where she has since been promoted and continues to serve us today. I appreciate her service to law enforcement, to the citizens of Gwinnett County, and for her tenacity in getting us where we need to be today. What this bill does is requires government agencies in Georgia to provide a mental health supplemental benefit to their first responders who are diagnosed with PTSD resulting from exposure to line-of-duty traumatic events. It creates a once-per-lifetime supplemental benefit to assist with uninsured costs associated with the initial diagnosis and ongoing treatment and recovery from PTSD. This benefit is needed because of stories like Ashley's. This benefit is needed because suicide among first responders is a growing epidemic in Georgia. In fact, death by suicide of first responders has surpassed line-of-duty deaths. Divorce rates and family separations have significantly increased in this profession due to issues attributed to PTSD. With a significant decline in our public safety workforce over the years, we cannot afford to continue losing officers due to the treatable mental health issues. We cannot continue to allow these brave men and women who sacrifice so much for our communities and so much for our well-being to continue to suffer themselves in silence. This benefit allows them to confidentially reach out and get the help they need without risking their jobs and without placing a financial burden on their families. Because of this legislation, lives will be saved. Today we have the opportunity to show these heroes we care about their mental well-being by giving them an opportunity to seek early diagnosis and treatment. We will help keep families together, keep moms and dads being moms and dads, and role models to their children, and it will make our community safer by these professionals being mentally fit. And I'll finish with this. I've been a paramedic for 40 years this May, 10 years on the front lines, at the tip of the spear, as we might say, including time working here on the streets of Atlanta with Grady EMS. As first responders, we work in a business that never closes, a job that requires us to run towards the danger when others are running away. Not responding and not helping is not a choice for us. It is a high-stress job that requires mental and physical toughness, even when chaos is going on all around us. Believe it or not, this is me excited. Y'all, I've personally seen traumatic events that no human should ever see. I've held people as they said their last words, took their last breath, knowing that I'm holding someone's spouse, father, mother, child, grandchild, sister, or brother, knowing that I was the last person they saw. What first responders do day after day is an emotional roller coaster, dealing with good events like delivering babies and bringing someone back to life from a heart attack or stroke, or even attending coffee with a cop, to horrible events like removing entangled bodies from a wrecked car, telling a mother her newborn baby is dead, to putting our lives on the line by making a routine traffic stop, by removing bodies from a lake or a burned house, entering a scene after a mass shooting, having to step over bodies to help those that are injured. Y'all, this can all happen in one day. It could be one day. And these first responders are expected to park the vehicle, go home, have dinner with their family, help the kids with homework, attend the football game, coach Little League soccer, and attend Wednesday night supper at church, and even pick up their own dry cleaning. And the next morning we get up, we put on the uniform, and we do it again with a smile on our face. I assure you, friends, PTSD is very real. And I'm fortunate so far that I have not suffered long-term mental health issues because of what I've witnessed and experienced. And some of you may disagree with that statement. But the memories and nightmares are there. They're locked away in an imaginary box in my mind for which I cannot lose the key. There are many triggers that open the box from time to time, but fortunately I can close it and move on. This bill is to help those that cannot. Once the box is open, they have a hard time closing it. The counseling they will receive because of your actions today could be the change agent for these men and women who are thinking the only way out is suicide or leaving the industry that they love. Today, right now, with your yes vote, you can make a difference. ACCG and GMA are in support of this bill, as well as your state police, local sheriff, firefighters, police, and EMS workers. House Bill 451 comes with a favorable consideration by the Public Safety Committee and the Insurance Committee. Please join me and support House Bill 451. Join me in showing our first responders in Georgia we care about them, we care about their families, and we are willing to invest in their well-being by providing this benefit. And with that, Madam Speaker, I'll ask for a favorable consideration, and I'm happy to take questions.
You do have questions. The chair recognizes Representative Werkheiser for a question. To your left.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that 5 years ago, this bill spent 2 years in industry and labor as a workers' comp bill, and then it was decided that it was better served as a more general bill and spent 2 years in public safety, and then this year it was moved to insurance, so it's been through 3 committees, and the First Responder Committee, is it not true, owes you a debt of gratitude for staying with us for 5 years to get to this day, and we thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Representative Bernal for a question. To your left.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that it is not until you need your services do people really appreciate what you do? I just want to tell you thank you for all your work and for the fact that you're representing the people you work with, and you did stick with this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Gladney for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Sir, is it not true that resources to support PTSD for first responders has been proven to be just as equivalent to resources that support veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder?
I believe the woman knows of what she speaks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Lumsden for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do, to my friend.
Is it not true that roughly 1 in 3 first responders develop some form of PTSD?
That is true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Representative Carter for a question.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that a few years ago on my way to the hospital, it was the fast-acting response of a paramedic that ensured that I got to the hospital, and today my children still have their mother alive?
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that, Representative.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
No more questions.
No more? Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well, and the chair recognizes Representative Kennard to speak for the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in favor today of HB 451. I heard a grim statistic over the weekend that Georgia now leads the nation in firefighter suicides. Let me repeat, in 2023, there were more firefighters that died by suicide in Georgia than any other state. We also know that law enforcement officers in our state are more likely to die by suicide than in the line of duty. And this is across the board among all our police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and all first responder personnel. We have seen a rise in recent years in suicides, alcohol dependency, and divorces. Every day our first responders put their lives on the line, but they also put their mental health on the line. Daily, they are seeing, hearing, and experiencing the unimaginable, and the PTSD that often follows is real. In some ways, this brand of PTSD is even more acute than what our combat zone military personnel experience, because in the armed forces, there's usually a limited amount of time and exposure. But with first responders, it is the daily pile-on, the accumulating compound impact day after day across a multi-year career that is particularly debilitating. The good news is one can recover from PTSD with the proper treatment. HB 451 provides all of our public first responders a health benefit for PTSD treatment when experienced in the line of duty. It is a nominal investment, but it will pay off big benefits for a healthy first responder workforce that can serve for the long term. I also want to thank Sergeant Ashley Wilson, who is part of Gwinnett County's finest, who brought this issue to us originally. She is right now serving and protecting today, and she's listening to this session via live stream. When we call our first responders in times of need, they show up, usually within minutes. Today, we have the opportunity to show up for them in their time of need. Please vote yes to HB 451. I yield the will.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative McCollum rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Madam Speaker, is it not true that as a former firefighter, I support this measure, and a lot of these public servants only make $12 to $15 an hour? This is the least we can do to help them.
The gentleman certainly knows of that which he speaks. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 168, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 880. House Bill 880.
House Bill 880 by Representative Ballard of the 147th and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 43-134 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to licenses for transitioning members of the armed forces so as to allow military spouses to use an existing license in good standing from another state. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The chair recognizes Representative Ballard to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I have House Bill 880 that will ease one of the burdens on our military spouses who follow their service members into Georgia. And I'd like to thank Chairman Powell for his advice and wisdom on this issue. This bill does three things. It ensures that Georgia is compliant with the new federal law regarding military spouse licensure, which was signed into law in July 2023. And I worked with our Defense Department liaison for the southern states to make sure this would get us into compliance. It meets the Department of Defense requirements regarding the timeliness of licensure by providing a 30-day time limit, and it allows our military spouses to work as soon as they get to Georgia. It will be one of the strongest military spouse licensure protection laws in the United States. In this bill, military spouses can begin the process of getting their license as soon as they are issued their orders before they even get to Georgia. The employer may go ahead and begin the verification process of their license to make sure they're in good standing and have no disciplinary actions. And if the spouse meets Georgia's requirements and they have not received any notification about their application within 30 days, they may work for that employer and use their license to work for themselves. This gives employers in military communities the freedom and flexibility to hire people who are a good fit for them and gets our military spouses to work. I ask for your favorable consideration, and I will yield for questions.
There are questions. The chair recognizes Representative Oliver to your left for a question.
Thank you. Does the lady yield?
I do.
I want to thank you for this bill. All of us get questions about licensure and obstacles, and the military is really leading us in how to modernize these licensure rules so that these obstacles can be removed. This is a very good example of a lot of work we have to do in the future to make it easier for people to get licensed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Jenkins to your right for a question.
Do you yield?
I do.
Representative Ballard, is it not true, and I can say as a career Army veteran, that you're addressing one of the primary sacrifices that military families make when they enlist in the military for a career, the sacrifice that spouses have to make when they follow their husband around the country as they serve our nation. So thank you for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Earhart to the front.
Thank you.
For
Will
a
the gentleman
question.
yield?
I do.
Representative Ballard, can you tell us a little bit about the DoD rating and how their state currently scores with that as relates to licensure and how that affects our score?
Yes, the Department of Defense ranks states in various categories of military friendliness. Some of these are schools, healthcare system, and professional licensure for spouses. Currently, Georgia gets 0 points in that military spouse licensure category, and this piece of legislation will make sure that we get all the points we're entitled to so that our bases might not pack up and be taken away from us in the future.
Will the gentlelady further yield?
Yes.
Is it not true that having been raised on military bases, I have a real heart and understanding for the sacrifices that those families live through, and that I'm proud of Georgia for taking this stand to help support our military families?
Thank you, and I am also a proud military spouse.
The chair recognizes Representative Huddleston to your right for a question.
Does the gentlelady yield?
Yes.
Is it not true that this legislation will support those who supports our troops the most?
Absolutely, it will.
Thank you for the bill.
Chair recognizes Chairman Saines to your left for a question.
Does the gentlelady yield?
I do.
Is it not true that I'm proud to represent over 6,000 sailors at Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay, in addition to several Coast Guard and Marines who all will appreciate that their spouses are able to add to the quality of life for their household because of this bill?
Absolutely, I believe that.
Thank you.
A lot of interest. The chair recognizes Representative Prince to the lady's left for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the lady yield?
I do.
Is it not true that this bill will not only help our military spouses and families to make ends meet, but also protect our military bases from future BRAC closures?
I believe it will.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if there are no further questions, I yield
one
the
or
will.
two more, and then
Oh, one or two more. Okay.
Chair recognizes Representative Scott for a question to your right.
Does the lady yield?
I do.
Will this bill give our military spouses the right to go from one state to another state and not have to wait person long days to get their license?
Yes, the licensing board will have to look at their license within 30 days.
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you for bringing this bill.
Final question.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Chairman Gunter for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the lady yield?
I do.
Does this bill, it applies to licenses under the Secretary of State's office?
Yes.
Not professional licenses, is that correct?
The ones covered under this code section with the Secretary of State.
Okay, all right, thank you.
There are no more questions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield the will.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Thomas rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Madam Speaker, is it not true that there are 13 military bases in Georgia and that this legislation will benefit the spouses of each of those bases?
The gentleman surely knows that of which he speaks. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 168, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1127. House Bill 1127.
House Bill 1127 by Representative Perkle, 169th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Title II of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to agriculture so as to authorize the Department of Agriculture to enforce certain criminal laws. This bill having referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, and that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chair recognizes Chairman Perkle to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I like to begin generally when I present a bill with a story about the farm or the family, but I've got the hemp bill, and I'll be honest with you, I racked my brain, I couldn't come up with anything. This is substantially the same bill that we passed out of this body last year that was HB 458. If you're wondering how you voted, it was 169 to 2. This one provides the commissioner the authority to enforce in Title 16 where hemp is. The meat of the bill requires consumable hemp products to have a full certificate of analysis panel. It provides that the department will set limits on contaminants, requires in truth and labeling. The things that we consume, we ought to know what's in. Requires a warning label, and requires and allows for the department to randomly inspect and seize non-compliant products. It also prohibits the sale to under 21. It mirrors alcohol provisions. It also includes enforcement therein. This bill provides guardrails on an industry we have in the state. Currently, if a product cannot pass the muster in California and Colorado, it's sent to Georgia. So this is cleanup language. This is a good bill. I appreciate your support. Please vote green.
There you have a question. The chair recognizes Chairman Dickey for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you for bringing this bill. Isn't it true that we passed this similar bill last year in this chamber with very broad support?
Very broad support. I thank you for your support.
Thank you for this bill.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Ballard to your left for a question.
Is it not true, or does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is it not true that under current law, there's nothing preventing a child from purchasing hemp products, and that this legislation will help protect Georgia's children?
This is true. Absolutely.
There are no more questions.
Thank you. Vote green.
The chair recognizes Representative Hutchinson to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I know that probably what you want to talk about this morning is hemp, but I wanted to get up here so that we can have an honest conversation about this. I know some of you know I passed out the op-ed that I had published in the AJC Sunday about this topic, and I wanted to make sure we're all on the same page about where we are. To start my journey in the hemp world, my kids came home from high school one day and was talking about the weed store that we had in my district. The weed store was on the corner that the biggest high school in my district is located. Brookwood High School, 4,000 students. And on the corner is a Chevron station. They kept referring to the Chevron station as the weed shop. I said, I've got to go see what y'all are talking about. I go in, they took all the drinks out, all the chips. It was all hemp products, Delta 8, Delta 9. And if you're familiar, you know that Delta 9 is what we have as illegal weed. Delta 9, when you see it, is illegal weed. It was in the store, broadly advertised, Delta 9. I brought those products to our solicitor in Gwinnett County. We had a long conversation. I said, you know, I know the law, and I'm pretty sure this is illegal. And he said, I think you're right. Let me call the GBI. He called the GBI. The GBI said they don't test small quantities, only large quantities that are being imported by the kilo into the country. So yes, he agreed with me. It was likely illegal, but there was no way to test it. There's no way to know for sure. You can't tell by looking. You can't tell by smelling. You can't tell by how somebody tests on a marijuana exam, because you don't know if it's Delta 8, which is legal, or Delta 9, which is not. So where are we? I have a high school with 4,000 kids, and these products who are stronger than what we've laid out as a legislature, available for purchase on the corner at the gas station. Now, back up a little bit. When I was working for DFAX in the 90s, I worked a split shift. I either worked 4 to 12 or midnight to 8. I've never slept the same since. I have been an insomniac since that day. So when all of these hemp products are available, and I see some of them are labeled for sleep, I was like, this could be interesting. So I tried them, and let me tell you, that was the best sleep I've had in years. Years. Now, I said this was gonna be an honest conversation. I think Whip Park probably just had a heart attack when I said that. But I was prescribed a narcotic to sleep in my 20s. I've been on the same narcotic, the same strength, which was the strongest strength allowable. I started taking those gummies. I was on Groupon one day, and I saw where you can buy a medical marijuana card for Georgia on Groupon for $84. So I bought the Groupon, and I talked to the doctor, and he said, so, you have PTSD? I was like, I don't know, do I? He said, yes, and I can approve you for a card, $84 on Groupon. But the bright side to this story is, with my Groupon medical marijuana card and my physician, I am no longer on that narcotic. I shop at our legal dispensaries, and I am no longer at all on that narcotic. This has a lot of potential, a lot of potential. But when you can go to the grocery store and buy Funyuns that are laced with marijuana, hence the picture on the wall that I took at a local smoke shop, close walking distance from here, you can see Doritos, Funyuns, Captain Crunch. This is all marijuana products. These do not need a license. You don't need a medical marijuana card. And let me tell you, as a customer of both, those are way stronger than what you get at the dispensary for a lot more money. If I'm going to jail, they're going to jail. Me and Frito-Lay, too. So my message today is, if we can go to any gas station and buy this, and our kids can go to any gas station and buy this, we needed this bill yesterday. We need a lot more. I suspect that if we can get this at most gas stations in the area, we do not have the resources to clean this up. We do not. When every gas station has something potentially illegal, who is cleaning this up? Who is testing these? Who is going to these facilities and testing this stuff that we know is illegal, but we can't prove it because where are we going to have it tested? If you get pulled over with this, who's going to jail and why? You can't tell if that's legal unless you test it. And where are you going to test it? Not the GBI. They already told us they can't. So where are we now? How are we going to get the resources to clean this mess up? Because let me tell you, your kids, I showed some of these products to the people in the room, and no one can tell the difference between something that was laced in marijuana and a regular Frito-Lay product. I suspect that we're going to have to regulate this much more. I think that it would be smart for us to tax it so that we can get the income to make all of the products that are available in Georgia legal and tested. And I know when I use them, I know what I'm ingesting, because right now we just don't. Those are my remarks. Hopefully I kept you awake, and let's have a great day, and I yield the well.
The lady has yielded the well. The chair recognizes the chairman to complete the remarks at the well on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to get us back on topic. We've had several bills coming through Ag Committee, department bills from our Commissioner of Agriculture. Tyler Harper has, and many of us in this body have seen the dangers of what's out there for sale to our young people and to consumers in our state. And we need these bills. We've got another one coming through committee that Representative Cannon has tomorrow, and it's 3 bills we're bringing through our Ag Committee to try to put some guardrails, get us back these products back within the law in our state. And we're not trying to do away with the products. We're just trying to put some regulation. Consumers do not know what they're consuming. And so this is a great bill. I hope you'll vote green on it. We've got a great plan to put some regulations on these products. So thank you, Madam Chair. Hope you vote green on this bill. There's a lot of work's gone into this by several members, Chairman Perkle and others in this body, to try to get us on track with these products. Thank you.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 165, the nays were 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1188. House Bill 1188.
House Bill 1188 by Representative Lott of the 131st and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 35 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the employment and training of peace officers so as to extend the time frame for which reimbursement of total training expenses by a subsequent employer of a peace officer may be sought. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Lott to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Currently in code, if a law enforcement officer is hired by another agency within 15 months after completing formal training, then the hiring agency will reimburse the cost of that training to the original agency. This bill only changes the reimbursement requirement from 15 months to 36 months, which adds greater protection on their investment by the agency and the community. I'll yield for questions, Madam Speaker.
There are no questions.
Thank you. I ask your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. For what purpose does Chairman Saines rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is this not true that this bill only creates an extension for agencies to incur costs? It does not ever add additional liability to the individual peace officer if they're transferring to a different agency.
The gentleman knows that for which he speaks. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 166, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption of House Bill 1251. House Bill 1251.
House Bill 1251 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 15630 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating the travel expenses of judges of the Superior Court so as to transfer from the state auditor to the Council of Superior Court Judges of Georgia duties related to review and approval of travel expenses. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Judiciary. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
The chair recognizes Representative Leverett to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, House Bill 1251 simply moves the function of reimbursing Superior Court judges for travel expenses from the Department of the State Auditor to the Council of Superior Court Judges. We believe this is a move that's long overdue. At the time the auditor was established as the person to handle this function was in the 40s, before the Council of Superior Court Judges even existed. And right now they have to get information from the council, send inquiries about to justify the expenses. They have to keep records. The council also maintains duplicates of those records. It's just extremely inefficient, and this would help greatly with government efficiency and keeping sort of costs down, as well as putting in the correct agency effectively that function of reimbursing the judges. So I think this is a good move. And I would just share with you, I don't know if any of you have ever had your administrative assistant call you and say the state auditor wants to come meet with you, but that does a lot of things to some of your vital statistics when you hear that. But fortunately, that was all that it was for. So we're doing this at the request of the auditor, and believe this makes a lot of sense. Madam Speaker, that's all I have. I'll yield for questions.
An exciting presentation elicited no questions.
Thank you. I ask your favorable consideration of House Bill 1251. I'll yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 167, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 974. House Bill 974.
House Bill 974 by Representative LaHood of the 175th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 entitled 21 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to primaries and elections generally so as to require the Secretary of State to establish and maintain a statewide system for posting of scanned paper ballots. This bill having referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman LaHood to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 974 requires that the Secretary of State establish and maintain a program to post images of paper ballots so that the public can view them and inspect them, and it sets a minimum DPI resolution to ensure that the quality of those images is as high as possible. Madam Speaker, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to take any.
There's one question. The chair recognizes Representative Anderson for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I do.
Is it not true that any citizen will be able to view these ballots at no charge?
That is the case.
Thank you for the bill.
There's one more question. The chair recognizes Representative Clark for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I do.
So how exactly are the regular everyday person, how would they get access to these ballots? And with that access, what can they do with them?
They will follow the Secretary of State's process to access the ballots. They'll be easily accessed online, basically. And what they do with them is totally up to them. They can count them, they can inspect them, whatever they choose to do with them.
Is there, does the gentleman further yield?
Yes.
Is there some process, like if they don't like what they see or they don't agree with something, is there some type of appeal process, or is this just you can look at the ballots all you want to?
You can look at the ballots all you want to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there an objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 167, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 996. House Bill 996.
House Bill 996 by Representative Vance, the 133rd and others to be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 4, Title 42 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to jails, so as to provide jailers with arrest powers. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Vance to present the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I come forward today, ladies and gentlemen, on House Bill 996. This is a bill to authorize post-certified jailers to have the legal ability to effectuate the arrest of someone who comes to the jail to surrender him or herself into custody for a warrant or a complaint. And number 2, initiate the arrest of any person violating a criminal law within the jail or perimeter guard lines of a jail. Y'all, there's probably 140 to 145 sheriff's departments in Georgia who, whenever someone comes to turn themselves in, they have to call a deputy off the road to come take that person into custody. This will allow a jailer who is already there and has post-training to effectuate that arrest and take that person into custody so that deputy can remain on the road answering those calls. I do hope that you will act favorably upon this bill because it will definitely help county jails in Georgia and keep more of our law enforcement people on the road to answer those calls that you may or may not make. With that, Madam Chairman, I yield for any questions or yield the well.
There are some questions. The chair recognizes Representative Gullett for a question.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that in a county of my size, I'm in Metro Atlanta, we're a pretty large county, but we only have 4 deputies potentially at any given time in the jail, and this would give them the ability to make those arrests, the jailers in their arrests who are post-certified, and that my county has been advocating for this a long time, and really appreciate you bringing this bill.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gullett, you are correct, and I really appreciate your question.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Stinson for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Representative, I appreciate your work on this legislation, but I just need a better understanding. You're saying this bill will make it where those jailers that are post-certified, do you know if most jails have jailers that are post-certified?
Yes, ma'am. Jailers have to attend a jailer's academy. It is a shorter one than a law enforcement officer academy, but they have to attend an academy within 6 months of being employed so they can get that certification to stay employed and work in a jail.
Further question, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this legislation require local sheriff departments to spend additional funds on getting trained? Okay. All
No,
right.
ma'am.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Petrie to your left for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I do.
Representative, is it not true that this issue, this bill will help us to deal with a dramatic increase in crime occurring in our local jails? Is that not true?
That's correct, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Cannon for a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I do.
Just a comment. Is it not true that in our county, our sheriff pulls from the ranks of the jailers to make sheriff's deputies? Is that not true?
That's correct, sir.
There are no more questions.
Madam Chairman, I yield the will, and I appreciate your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 166, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Last bill before lunch. Clerk will read the caption. House Resolution 1022. House Resolution 1022.
House Resolution 1022 by Representative Campbell, 135th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide for local governments to have the option to offer a statewide homestead exemption from ad valorem taxes. This resolution has been referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this resolution be adopted by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Camp to present the bill. Chair is going to hold on that bill, and we're going to move on to, the clerk will read the caption to House Bill 1181. House Bill 1181.
House Bill 1181 by Representative Martin of the 49th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 7 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to income taxes so as to limit the carry-forward periods of certain income tax credits. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Martin to present the bill.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the time, Madam Speaker. I know I'm standing between the group and lunch this afternoon, but I have an important measure I'd like for the House to consider. House Bill 1181 seeks to bring some consistency and some predictability to items in the tax world. The tax credits and tax exemptions in this bill that are addressed, the tax exemptions particularly are ones that have minimal impact. They are less than $1 million to the state budget. So we're bringing those back to a 5-year sunset. So if they're impacted or affected people, will have 5 years to look at those to keep them on the state tax books or to remove them. The other portion of the bill in the front seeks to lower the carry forward for tax credits. So when companies or individuals earn tax credits subject to these various credits that we offer at the state, we're shortening the runway for those tax credits to be used to provide us more budget predictability. We think that is important to the citizens of our state in the budgetary process as we move forward. Again, we've been very open and listened to folks involved in the process, and we're shortening some down to 3 years, others to 5. And an important thing for members to know is anyone that has a tax credit under the current law uses the current carry forward. So we're taking nothing away from individuals, but we're building a parameter going forward that gives our state revenues more predictability and will allow this body and the governor's office, in working with the Senate, the ability to provide for the needs of Georgians. Madam Speaker, I'll answer any particular questions, but this simply seeks to simplify and make consistent the tax policy of the state of Georgia.
Gentleman has one question. The chair recognizes Chairman of Ways and Means, Chairman Blackman.
Does the gentleman yield?
Absolutely.
Okay. Isn't it true that this legislation is an opportunity to advance the goals of our out-of-session study by the Joint Tax Review Panel by reducing future contingent liability and adding 5-year sunsets to unutilized and underutilized credits and exemptions?
Yes, sir. Chairman Blackman, I thank you and Chairman Hudsettle for leading that effort. That's exactly what we're doing, is following that committee's study and their work. There are no further questions, Madam Speaker.
There are no more questions.
No more. I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bill. The yeas were 166, the nays were 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. We have several announcements before lunch. We'll be coming back into session at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Chair recognizes Representative Alexander for an announcement. If you've signed up for an announcement, please come down to the front.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Women Caucus will meet immediately upon adjournment in room 216. Lunch will be served. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Corbett for an announcement. The chair recognizes Representative Clark for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of GLBC that have on your African attire, if you could meet me down here at the well immediately upon adjournment for a picture. Thank you.
Recognizes Chairman Stevens for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Economic Development and Tourism will meet for a short meeting, 406 CLOB. 406 CLOB.
Chair recognizes Chairman Gunter for an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Judiciary will meet upon adjournment today in room 132. Thank you.
If you have pages here and you wish to take page pictures before lunch, please get your page and come down to the front. We will be in recess until 1 p.m.